All right, friends, we are so close to the beginning, but before we start our Gungeon 1, I just want to briefly remind everyone why we are gathered here today. Running Through Wonderland is raising money for Alice at Wonderland Games' gender-affirming surgery. Alice came out to her friends at 17 and to her family at 19 and is currently double majoring in psychology and neuroscience. She wants to be a psychiatrist to help young adults and specialize in queer issues and mood disorders. Alice's surgery has been canceled twice due to insurance issues and has been waiting for the surgery for 4 years since her first consultation. So every moment and every dollar counts to help her get there. And you all have been doing the most all day, and we are not going to delay another moment because it is time to welcome to the stage DanTheVP running Enter the Gungeon all floors. Dan, show us how it's done.
All right, thank you so much for that introduction, and it's really important to know what we're here for more than just playing games. So I'm glad I was able to sit in on that as well. I am DanTheVP. We're going to be checking out Enter the Gungeon. If you're thinking, oh, there's like an hour estimate, I might go pet my dog or something, you should pet your dog, but know that we're going to try to save a little bit of time here. We're going to get through the Gungeon extra quickly. I'm sure there's a warning on screen. There's going to be a lot of flashing lights. We are playing all floors, which is going to be absolutely everything you can do in one run of this game. It is a roguelike. There's a lot of stuff you can go back and do. You're not going to see, but 5% of the game in this one run. Thankfully, I've got a good friend of mine who has done this before. BD, you ready for some Gungeon?
I am always ready. This is going to be so much fun, y'all. Hi, I'm BD. I've known Dan for a long time now, and we've been doing Gungeon together longer than I think either of us realized. So,
Yeah.
if you've not seen this, if you didn't watch it at SGDQ, or you haven't seen any of Dan's previous All Floors runs, hold on tight because we're going to have some fun.
And we've got a couple extra things happening, just, because we can. We're playing on rainbow mode, which normally the game gives you items as you progress through a run. Instead of that, we're going to choose one item at the beginning of every floor. That'll make sense when we get into the game. You'll see what's happening. I'm sure you're all gamers. You will understand. We're also playing on turbo mode, so just the whole game is 30% faster. And I've summoned a little friend to come along with us. His name is Gungeon. He's going to try his best. I'm sitting on the pause screen here because I've cycled through the beginning of the game to find the gun that I want to start with. So I think we're lined up. Time is going to start in 3, 2, 1, go. All right, tell them about the Raiden coil, why don't you, BD?
So who here likes shmups? Do you like shmups? I like shmups. And you know what my favorite part of shmups is? The beam weapon. And so that's what we've got here, basically. We've got ourselves a good old shmup. We got okay, we have one of those rooms starting off. That's
wanted to show off the flashing light warning for real.
Right off the bat. So yeah, we have this beam weapon here, the Raiden coil. It doesn't use bullets, which is a little interesting for Enter the Gungeon, but you can see the ammo over on the right-hand side, so it's not unlimited. Dan is also playing as the gunslinger, which is going to come into real effect starting on the next floor. Dan, you want to tell him why you're playing as the gunslinger?
So there are several characters you can play as, 8 in total. There were 4 that were released with the game and 2 that you could unlock. And the final 2 that were added were kind of quest characters. And the gunslinger is the ultimate Gungeon character. There's a big long lore behind him, and he is actually the Lich as well, which, spoiler alert, you're going to see the whole game anyway, so spoilers will abound. But the very important thing about the gunslinger... Oh, we got extra junk for Gungeon. Let's go. The very important thing about the gunslinger is the game has things called synergies, which it's pretty self-explanatory. You get 2 things, they work together, you maybe get a little bonus, but the gunslinger knows everything there is to know about guns, so he doesn't need to have multiple items to get synergies. So every gun we pick up is going to have every single synergy, which, you might be lucky to get 1 or 2 synergies in a run, Like currently this gun has like 4 synergies applied to it, which is you can probably tell it's giant, it's homing, it's got these extra bullets, and we're 2 minutes into the run and we're down with the first boss.
That's the joy of a gunslinger run. Unfortunately, no master round. No master round.
No master round.
We'll have opportunity for that. If you've played Enter the Gungeon before, you may think that now's the time you go down the elevator to the next floor. Not in an all floors run. No, beating the boss on this floor is not enough. We have to get some keys, and then we have to find a fireplace, because one of the best things about Enter the Gungeon is it seems straightforward, and then you very quickly realize it's not straightforward at all.
You got double junk.
Double junk, and yeah, we're gonna go put out this fire. There's a button in that fireplace if you didn't realize.
Yep.
And so Dan, crucially, has 2 keys, which you need to unlock this trapdoor to fall into our first secret floor of the run, the oubliette. And what do we get in the chest? We get some choices.
I'm taking my time right here because the in-game timer is stopped, and technically this run is leaderboard goes by in-game timer, so I'm used to kind of I think I'm going to take Old Goldie because it breaks the damage cap, and that's fun. So we're just going to put Old Goldie in our back pocket.
One thing you don't necessarily learn on your first playthrough, but there is a damage cap normally. So you can't just one-shot bosses, even if your build is as good as it possibly could be, unless you break things.
Yeah.
And Old Goldie is one of the ways that we can break things in this run, which is really fun. So what are we doing in the oubliette? Well, we're trying to get out. We're also looking for a crest. You'll know it when you see it, because if Dan finds it before getting to the boss here, Dan's probably going to turn around and immediately leave.
Yeah, I already did. I already left.
Awesome.
I already found it. You got good RNG here.
So the floors in Enter the Gungeon are procedurally generated, so they are different every time. However, they do tend to follow a very defined set of rules. Those rules vary from floor to floor, but generally, once you've played this enough, you have a feel for where things are going, and that'll get more important as we get closer to the end. But here in the oubliette, we are just looking for a boss, and one important thing to note about secret floors is that, by and large, they are significantly harder than floors that they are in between. As you'll see here with the Blobulord boss, just a tiny bit of a step up from the Bullet King we faced on the last floor.
Yeah, so normally it would take a lot longer to kill this boss, but with Old Goldie, the way the damage cap works in this game is it's only applied to bosses, and it's like a rolling 3-second DPS window that once you hit it, you can't do any damage until like the next second rolls over. And so you really never notice it unless you know it's there and you're trying to break it, which we just did. Very significantly, I might add. 5 minutes.
Normally a much longer fight.
Yeah. And we also have, I think, 3 junk at this point, which
I think it's 4.
Yeah. No, one of them is Junkin. So.
Oh, okay.
I summoned this little companion, and his name is Junkin, and he's like a 1% drop in the Gungeon after you get him for the first time. The important thing is that
oh boy, are you gonna do
I want duct tape? No, I'm gonna take the heart. I'm gonna be responsible. Duct tape lets you combine 2 guns. It's really ridiculous, but you do end up being ammo dependent on like the gun that has the least amount of ammo, so it can kind of be less of a blessing. Oh, and I lost the old crest. Yep, there it is. I'm cursed. Marathon runs in the old crest just don't.
Yeah. So what the old crest, generally speaking, getting the old crest and keeping the old crest is incredibly hard, even with amazing guns that we're getting through rainbow mode. And the problem is that you need the crest in order to get the second floor, or the second secret floor, the Abbey. We are blessed to have a very devoted community of speedrunners for this game, and they have helped us out with some marathon safety that, in cases like this, where we have, shall we say, unfortunate experiences with the crest, we are not doomed here. It's not all lost. Is it great shame? Not really, because this is a really hard thing to do. But we're not going to have to worry about missing any content here. We got you covered, don't worry.
Yeah, and there are several things that, like, this run, like I said, is nope, you're never intended to do all of this at once. You really can't until you've almost 100% of the game, because there's so many things you have to unlock. So we have what I've named the marathon safety mod, because you could just not have enough money and you get to this floor and you just can't finish your run. Or if the water barrel breaks on the first floor, you might not get enough keys. And so there are several little things, and shout out to the Rotbot who helped me with this mod and tested it with me, because I can just get another old crest right here. Don't tell the shopkeeper. And I'm also picking up the gnarled key. But before we get to the gnarled key, I haven't been able to get junk in his due. I got another piece of junk. So like I was saying, Junkin is like a 1% chance. And he's this little dude, but if you destroy chests, which we can't use chests because we're getting rainbow chests, you have a very small chance of getting something good and a high chance of getting junk, because normally junk is not great unless you have Junkin, and then it's fantastic. So every junk we get levels up Junkin. Like now he's got a sword and a shield and like some fancy armor. This is like truly a blessed run. Usually whenever I force Junkin, I get like 1 or 2 junk. So this might actually be a full junk run. Might have to try for it. I think we've got the time.
We can do this. Speaking of time, we have the Ammo Conda here. Every speedrunner's favorite boss.
Yeah. It's almost, it gets harder on rainbow mode, because the faster you damage the Ammo Conda, the faster he spawns the ads, and the ads heal him, so you really need to not let them just sit there. But took a couple of hits, we'll be alright. Alright.
There we go. Ammo Conda down. That is the second boss down. Still no master round, but we've got time.
Yeah, third floor is my favorite for the master rounds. Where are we going? We're leaving now.
We are going to the Abbey. Now, here's a couple things you need to know about the Abbey. One, first floor we've got that is straightforward. So no hidden agenda, no... Where are we going here?
High caliber. This is like... This is not how you build the Raiden Coil for a Raiden Coil run, but High Caliber and Old Goldie are like 2 of the best guns in the game. They're heavily ammo dependent, so having the Raiden Coil as backup for just room clearing, this will be fun.
So here's the thing you need to know about the Abbey. It's straightforward, so there's no hidden agenda, there's no homework we have to do. We just got to get to the end and beat the boss. That boss is really, really hard, and this floor is really, really hard. So getting there is going to be a bit of a choice, if you will. But Dan's got, like, as I said, Dan's got a couple of the best guns in the game, and an absolute, beast of a room killer. So really, it's just going forward from here, just clearing out enemies and making it to the Old King. So Quack, while we're getting to the Old King, floor is yours.
Absolutely, and I am delighted to report that we have crossed the $500 threshold raised so far for Alice's gender-affirming surgery. Thank you so much to everyone who has donated to help make that happen and kick off the marathon in fantastic fashion, like this $20 donation from Zoe, who says, "Gender dysphoria is the worst. I hope this helps. Less than 3. I agree, and thank you very much for the sentiment."
I also agree. So you may have noticed a couple of enemies here in the Abbey, and you're definitely going to see it when we find the Old King. Are shooting these black bullets. Most of the bullets you're seeing are these sort of white with red circled bullets, and you know they hurt. But you'll see some black bullets starting to come up in this floor. Those are cursed bullets, and they hurt a lot.
They come from jammed enemies.
The one thing you need to know about Enter the Gungeon is that every single thing in this game is a pun at some level. Every single thing.
We got more junk. We got White Knight.
We got
Gungeon,
We got a literal White Knight, Sir Junkin.
If you get a high enough level Junkin on the credit screen, it replaces your portrait with Junkin because he then just is carrying you as the other way around. And this is really early to have this much junk. This is a rare occurrence.
As you can see,
all right.
Junkin earns a spin attack, and Junkin DPS is going to be off the charts. But we're stocking up on some armor because we're about to go into the old king.
Yeah, we're gonna try.
Here we go.
Yeah, I'm gonna try high caliber here. I'm taking damage on purpose, kind of, for those 2 bits of armor. So the way high caliber works is it like knocks the soul out of an enemy, and if you go and collect that soul, it does damage, like massive damage. I wonder if I could get on the right gun. All right, let me get that set up. All right, that's what I'm trying to do here. I'm not terribly worried about my life as long as I have a little bit and some blanks.
Yeah, blanks are important. You'll see under the health bar you've got that little blue bullet casing. That's a blank, and what a blank will do is it will clear the screen of all bullets. So if you're in a pickle or you're running into something that's about to end in a very poor result, you can use a blank and you can basically get out of jail free. It also helps a little bit with knockback. So like, I'm just gonna, oh.
Well, I said that.
The old king.
13 minutes. All right. That's the difficulty spike. Did you forget that Junkin does that? Because I forgot that Junkin does that.
Today I learned.
Junkin just laid down his life, so I didn't have to reset this run.
Yo, let's go, Sir Junkin.
Junkin.
I forgot that it was White Knight. I thought it was the next level Junkin.
I mean, it's the White Knight.
Truly blessed run. All right.
Y'all, can we get some Fs in the chat for Sir Junkin, though? For real.
The sheer number of emotions I just experienced in 6 seconds.
That would not be the first time that a run has died there in like an RTA setting, and it's just kind of, it's why the estimate is an hour long. But yeah, Junkin saved it. All right, so this secret floor, we're looking for rats, and we found them on the first floor, or in the first room, which is really good, because that's what I need to unlock.
Very good drops in terms of room layout.
Yes.
We got a wall master here.
Epic dodge. Let's go.
Let's go. So what are we doing here? Well, we found the rats. That's step 1. We have the Nod key, which is good. You need 1 key, which we've got plenty of keys now. Because we're not opening chests, we can save all those keys. And you need 2 blanks, which we have 2 blanks, so we're good there. What are we going to do with that? Well, you'll see.
Ooh, no. I don't have Junkin anymore. I don't need to do the shooting game. That gives you a chest that you can't open, but you can destroy, but... Rip Junkin.
So if you're wondering how Dan has gotten such good guns for this, the thing you need to know about Rainbow Mode is that there are tiers of rarity in Enter the Gungeon for items. So like guns have like varying degrees of rarity, and with a rainbow run, each rainbow chest drops at least 1 of each rarity. So you are guaranteed every floor to get I don't necessarily say very good, but at least a very rare gun. And in this case, we can start with the raiding coil and then go in and find 2 very strong boss killer weapons on top of it. We just can't get anything else during a floor. And that's sort of the trade-off you get with rainbow mode. It's that you know you're going to get something good, you just can't plan for what that something good is. As we're about to go into Dreadnought.
I got the
Literal
bumble
tank.
bullets. I like the bumble bullets. They give me bees.
Everyone likes bees, right?
They're homing, and they actually, like, with the Raiden coil, since you're constantly shooting out, you get quite a few bees. And this is not... my other 2 guns are very good for close range or closer range, so we're just kind of hanging back and fighting a tank.
We're chilling.
I was hoping for one of the other D&D themed bosses, but... I guess you could have a tank in D&D, I mean...
But there's no
Why
reason
not?
you can't.
Yeah,
There's nothing in the rulebook that says a tank can't play Dungeons and Dragons.
exactly. I mean, I was thinking about, like, just being an NPC tank, not a playable tank, but, you know, now I'm intrigued. Maybe in some, like, Spelljammer campaign.
Metal Slug D&D campaign. Let's go. And hey, it's gone. And crucially, that was a hitless fight, which is actually important because it means we get a master round.
All right, what do we have? We don't need any of that. All right,
Let's
on to the
go.
rat.
It is rat time. It's a bit of a journey. This is one of the most, like, I don't want to say secrets, but like this is a convoluted thing
Yeah.
we're about to go on right here. So we're entering the rat lair, and it's going to look very easy. However, what you need to know is that the rat's lair is a lost woods, and it's a lost woods that is different for every single runner. We got armor synthesizer, which is going to be fun.
Right, up, left.
That is Dan's and only Dan's pathway to get to the rat. If you try and do that, you will get kicked out of the floor. How are you supposed to know what your path is? Well, over the course of many runs, you'll run into what's called the resourceful rat, which is going to steal something if you leave it behind and then try and come back for it. Every so often, the resourceful rat will leave you a note, and in that note will be one step on your path here to the rat. It's going to be different for everyone, and it's going to take you a lot of playthroughs to find it. So what you're seeing now is the result of dozens, if not hundreds, of Gungeon runs to get that path figured out.
Also, there's 100%.
Speaking of the result of dozens, if not hundreds, can I share some very exciting news?
Yes.
We just got a $250 donation
Let's
from
go.
Pug saying less than 3. With that, we have breezed past the the Metroid Prime incentive. We are gonna be wearing that fusion suit, y'all. Thank you so much for that
go.
incredible
This is the best
generosity.
development. Thank you so much for that generous donation. Metroid Fusion is the best Metroid, and I will not take any arguments to the contrary, so this is a very good development for me. But seriously, thank you so much for a very generous donation. And we're fighting the rat. This is phase 1 of the rat, and it's over. Thank you, Old
man,
Goldie.
this is gonna be
Okay.
tough.
Quack, do you know what's coming next?
No.
Okay, well, after the phase 1, the phase 2 fight is, obviously going to be a giant mech.
Oh, okay.
Metal Gear.
That was actually, I had that written down on a sheet of paper here.
So we have, it's a very I would consider having a giant mech at your disposal to be resourceful, personally. So this is the resourceful rat's second phase. But again, you're seeing it's very patternistic, very cycle-driven, and here's the thing: bosses in Gungeon are mean. They do not care whatsoever about what you're trying to accomplish. And if they decide they're not going to play nice, then they're not going to play nice. But we have an old Goldie, which is helping us make good Or at least, you know, we've got some safety that we can get because we're breaking that damage cap. You'll notice that Dan is dodge rolling into a wall, which allows him to escape these bullets.
Ow.
Like I said.
And what are we at? Making a judgment call here. All right. We're going again. We're going to get back there. We're going to do floor 1 and 2 and not do the oubliette and the Abbey. We can do all of that without replaying the first 2 secret floors.
And that is, there. Honestly, this is Gungeon. That's just going to happen. Like, there's no true counter for what's coming. Like, you can have a really good build, and the bosses will just decide it's over.
I did just get the finished gun, which is we don't allow in races most of the time because it kind of ends up being unfair. So we might have a little redemption here. We'll see.
You're only racing yourself at this point,
Yeah.
so I think you're allowed to be a little unfair.
Yeah.
But we get to see more bosses, and bosses are actually really cool. So we get the Gatling Gull, which is a bird with a minigun. Also, if you'll notice, not much longer for this world. Yeah, for races there are a few sort of like house rules that are in place to sort of, I'm gonna say, make sure everyone has a fair chance, because there are some bigger, like the finished gun, for instance, is kind of a trump card. But also there are some items that are exploitable, teleportation items that are normally we don't normally allow in races just because they're just not fun. Like, it's no fun to have a race with someone who can literally break the game, and not in like a fun haha happy way, but in like a, oh, like this is unfair way.
Finished gun is a little bit more ammo dependent, so there is kind of that consideration. But the finished gun gives you curse, which there are some like secondary stats in the game. There's curse, there's coolness, there's probably another one I'm forgetting. And curse increases the likelihood of getting those jammed enemies, but it also increases the chance that you'll get an item drop.
Are you skipping the yet?
Oh yeah, we're leaving.
I was
just doing that for fun. I was just doing that for fun.
I didn't know if you needed, because there will still things, you still have to buy the World Key, which is some money. So
yes,
like, you could be farming for money. So
I can go into debt, which is nice.
Ari launcher, let's go.
Yeah.
But Quack, while we're getting back to the rat lair, do you have anything to read for us?
Absolutely. So a while, it seems like forever ago now, BD, you asked a very incisive question, which was, do you like shmups? And I myself am a shmup neophyte. The closest thing to a genuine shmup that I have ever played in my life is Undertale, which just so happens to have a bid war currently open for tomorrow to name the fallen child. That is still wide open. You can be the first to come up with your chosen name. It is a maximum of 6 characters, so you have to pack a lot of cleverness into a short space. But Dan and BD, if you were to give our Undertale protag a shmup-inspired name, what would it be?
Toho.
Hachi.
Wow, that was instantaneous.
Bloodstain has a shmup at the end of Curse of the Moon 2. I don't know why. You can fly around in the little dog mech, and his name is Hachi.
I do love that.
Hey, another new boss.
Hey, this is the Gore Gun. Because, like I said, everything in this game is a pun.
So the last bullet in a clip of the finished gun reflects all bullets. So some bosses are more exploitable than others, like this one. And they do damage the boss if you send them back and they hit them, so. I said we weren't going to see most of the game in one run, but we're actually seeing a lot more of it than I thought. All right.
Yeah.
We got the key. I'm in debt a little bit, but that's okay.
Yeah.
We need the rats
That's fine.
again.
This time we're bringing more to the table with the rat. But step one, we have to find it because it's going to be in a different place than it was last time. Gun friendship.
Everybody likes friends. I do need some ammo though. All I've got is the Yari launcher and we might end up with the based gun. Up. Look at that. Look at me complaining.
Right on cue.
All right,
the game knows it was mean.
Yeah.
And is showing a little bit of remorse by giving me ammo.
I was generous on my estimate, and I was like, "Oh no, we'll come in under." The game punishing me and then giving it back.
It really do take it and give it away.
I am looking for rats though.
That is true. That is true. And there's one thing about Enter the Gungeon, it is not lacking for content.
The rats are easy to miss. More ammo. You know what? I'm not even going to destroy that chest. Some rooms will never have the rat like this one. I say that and look, the rat's probably going to be there next time I play.
That is how this game works at times.
We did find out that the rats are the only thing that the seeded mod can't seed, which that's kind of funny. But...
Yeah, we found that out the hard way.
Yeah.
In practice for the SGDQ race Dan had with Radder Tail. Thinking that we knew everything that we could control and then realizing that the Gungeon would never let us control everything.
There are so many layers of RNG in this game. There is just like the basic, the rooms are laid out with kind of a logic that you can suss out. And there have been some great resources provided. If you really just want to learn how to predict the Gungeon, you can. But then your RNG is dependent on how you've experienced the Gungeon in the past. So if you have 100% save file and I have 100% save file, we're still never gonna even get close to the same RNG because I picked up a different gun at a different run. And beyond all of that, there are hidden attributes. So some guns are crappy guns. And if you get a crappy gun, the game feels bad for you, and so you have a much less likely chance to get another crappy gun. But you're never gonna know what guns are crappy, what guns are some guns are listed as shotguns that are clearly not shotguns, but it's all just hidden in there. I'm sure very neatly arranged.
That's the actual in-universe canon term for those guns, by the way, is a crappy gun.
Well, it's actually something else, but I don't want to take liberties with language on a channel that's not my own. But yeah. And this was a game that was released in 2016. I think that was a 2023 find. Some random YouTuber found the secret. Where is this boss? I didn't find the boss, did I? No.
No.
You know what? I do this. It's gonna be through the shop. Watch.
There you go. Look at that.
I have a bad habit of not going in the shop when I don't need to.
I mean, it's a fair habit for most speedruns. And hey, what do you know?
We don't technically have to beat this boss, but we might as well just see another boss.
Yeah. Cannonball Rog. Again, more puns.
Yes.
Also, this is another boss that speedrunners are not particularly fond of.
Yeah, this boss is gonna possibly leave. Just decide he's done with us. Which I don't know if you know this, but you can. Well, he didn't go away. There's a phase where that boss disappears, but you can still attack that boss's corpse, or not corpse, where the boss disappears to, you can melee attack that spot and damage it during the whole phase 2, which is kind of silly.
All right.
Under
got
10 minutes back. All right, let's go.
Let's go. And we've got 2 master rounds, armor, and the old crest, because we got the old crest, because why not?
I just took a free one because I felt like I deserved a free one.
You did. You know what? I'd say you do. What are we going?
Let's get the little blank companion. Oh no, that's blank bullets. Oh, these are, I get those two confused. These are actually pretty good.
Yeah. It's a blank on every reload, right?
No, it's a random chance for a bullet to be a blank.
You know what?
I got 2 free rooms there. Okay.
Yeah. With as many bullets as we're firing, that's good odds.
Yes. These zombies are more annoying when I don't have the Raiden coil.
There is an element of like, as in a lot of roguelites, your build can have strengths and weaknesses, and in Gungeon, because all of the guns are so varied, it's super easy to get a build that's an amazing boss killer and absolutely just crawls through the floors just because it's high target damage.
Yeah. I still have the Yari. I think we'll use the Yari for phase 1 because phase 2 is better for the finished gun. So this is like the OG break the damage cap gun, and I have gun friendship.
So watch that health bar. Because yeah, that health bar's gone.
Wow.
So is this gun.
Yeah, okay, so that's the
bullets left.
entirety
Yeah,
of that gun's ammo, but it was worth it because it looked cool.
One of the things they added later in the last update is ammo that refills 50% of the gun you're holding and 25% of every other gun, which really made guns like the Yari launcher a lot more viable in speed runs, because normally you just kind of unload once and that's about all you get to see with the Yari. But I'm trying to destroy these the kind of the cylinder and the long piece. Once you destroy them, it kind of hit stuns the boss for a second.
You're seeing we're making much better time.
Yeah.
So, Quack, question for you.
Answer for you.
If the giant mech is phase 2, what do you think phase 3 is going to be?
2 giant mechs.
Oh, that just makes too much sense.
Okay, we can go sillier. 3 giant mechs.
What about Punch Out?
Okay. Yeah, no, of course.
So, this is actually more important than you might think. Remember, we're playing a rainbow mode, and we only get 1 chest per floor. Which means if we try and get any other items throughout the run, we don't. Like, it just doesn't open. This is the one exception to that. Anything that drops during the Punch-Out fight, we get to keep. And we might be able to get some really cool stuff here if the rat decides to play nice. Because, again, another game famous for its unfair boss fights, Punch-Out, the rat is a dirty fighter, as you might expect. Yeah, we got a baseball bat. But we're on to phase 3 here with 1 minute and 10 seconds left. So Dan's done this fight.
There's like a 1 frame. I'm calling it 1 frame stun lock, but I'm not getting the right attack.
There are no buffer strats for this
There we
fight.
go.
There it is. And
We got plenty of items.
We beat the rat.
That is required for the all floors run. If you lose to the rat, your run's not over. Gungeon is like, yeah, that would kind of be pretty lame if you lost to the random punch out fight. So you can keep playing. And we got the golden gun. All right, let's go fill up on ammo. See, let's go here.
You'll notice Dan left some keys behind. If you play this on your own, pick those keys up because these chests here in this room that we're going to blow right past contain some incredibly strong items that unfortunately we just you won't be able to see in a rainbow run because one item per floor. But we're here to the Hollow, and
okay, our ammo problems have been solved. Got the hero's bandana, which like quadruples your ammo capacity.
So one issue has been averted. There are still some others, but one issue has been averted.
It also increases my damage and speed, I think. Somebody Google it. Anytime I'm running this game, I just have Gungeon Wikipedia open because it's just impossible.
And Gungeon Wiki might be the best game wiki I've ever used. Like, it is incredibly detailed. It has all of those elements that we were talking about earlier that took years to discover. All of that is really captured well in the Gungeon Wiki. So major shout out to all of the community members that work on that and help bring all this knowledge to everyone else who's playing this.
Oh, well, we found the spell creep. All right.
We found our friend. So something you need to do here is that what we're doing is on purpose. We're selling a master round and 2 items of our choice. Why do we do that? To blow the grade up. More on that later.
Now that's why we have a safety round. So if I would have gotten no master rounds, that's another part of the marathon safety mod. And because we've been bringing it up, all of everything I'm using and a whole bunch of other Enter the Gungeon mods are all hosted with R2 Modban. It syncs up really easily if you've got the game on PC. It's a very user-friendly kind of system, and I would highly encourage it. There's a lot of really cool things that different creators have done. There's, you know, a seeded mod if you want to play with your friend and have the same exact experience. There's some quality of life stuff along with kind of the marathon safety stuff. So definitely check it out if you're in the market to play this for another 100 hours like me.
It also has Enter the Gungeon has a really good debug menu that for a run that is so random, it lets you get a lot of, like, if you want to practice something specific, you can do that fairly easily.
Yeah. Shout out to any speedrun that gives me like save states or like debugging tools. I can't tell you how many devs put in like things they think speedrunners want when we just want to like be able to save the game and play something over.
Yeah.
That's so real.
We just want to practice.
Just like, let me save this here and give myself an item I normally wouldn't have. Oh, good. I like these.
We have our kill pillar friends here. This is kind of an Armos night situation where we got to take these individual statues out. But the finished gun is going to make this very silly.
Also, I have an active item, which is in the bottom left corner, and it's the Potion of Gun Friendship, and when it's grayed out like that, it's because I used it, and that just like greatly increases the friendship with my gun, which makes it do more damage. All right, that floor is done. Another master round. Let's go back to where the cell creep was and take the trip to the 4th out of 5 secret floors.
Yeah, you could say this is the last secret floor if you don't count the end game. Oh boy. that is a pickup.
Good old Gundromeda strain.
Gundromeda strain. So this is going to go pretty fast. One thing you need to know: this is the research and gungeoneering department.
Of course it is.
RNG.
Which is funny because there's a whole bunch of enemies here that are nowhere else in the game. This is sort of like where beta enemies retire to before the main run. But the other funny thing about the RNG department is that there is no RNG on this floor.
Nope.
At all. This floor is exactly the same as it ever has been and ever will be. So as we're making our way to the top of the roof, Quack, if you have something to share with us, now is actually a really great time.
First of all, let me just share that that's absolutely hysterical. But second of all, I would love to share, you thought we were done with Metroid Prime incentives? Ha! Ha, I say. We have just opened up an incentive for our Metroid Prime multi-world randomizer to ride the gondola. If we meet $1,000 total as a milestone in all donations before the end of our Metroid Prime 1 and 2 run, Bash will have to ride the gondola in the abandoned base. This is a completely useless event in Skilled Randomizer and features a bunch of tiny enemies flying all over the place, but, and this is critical, it's funny.
That's if the great cause was not reason enough. By the way, that was Aghanim. Aghanim is now dead.
Yeah, wow.
Thank you, Launcher. But if that wasn't reason, if the cause wasn't reason enough, that is hilarious, and you should absolutely donate to do it.
This is a Die Hard reference, right?
It has to be.
Yeah. Okay.
And as we established at SGDQ, that makes Enter the Gungeon a Christmas game.
Yes, yes. Christmas game. Only if you do the secret floors, though.
True.
So it's like a Christmas special. Ooh, we're gonna fly. You wanna fly? We fly
Let's
now.
fly. We fly. We're on a throne.
We have the throne, so we fly and shoot bullets when we dodge. Oh, get me out of here. Which is also really nice when I'm not taking damage. I also can't get burned anymore, so.
So this room just got easier.
Yeah.
We're here on the forge. So what the goal of the forge? It's the last floor of any percent. So for the vast, overwhelming majority of the runs, this is it. This is the last floor, and it's very straightforward. You just have to get to the end. But getting to the end is going to be a bit of a thing because this floor is huge, and this floor does not like to play nice with how it generates.
Yeah, there's a couple, like, realistically, there's like 3 layouts, and every layout falls into one of those 3. Functionally, it's a big mess, and figuring out where you are at any given time can be pretty ridiculous. The best rule of thumb is that the boss fight's really big, so the game has got to give space for that, which is why I'm just going up, because most of the time the boss is going to be above you.
And when we say really big, we mean
not.
like really.
Yeah.
You'll see. You'll see. But yeah, this is a floor. This is a floor that a lot of people struggle a lot with because it is genuinely incredibly hard.
Yeah, being able to fly is really, really good, especially in this floor. So don't left or right, left or right. Let's go right since there's less above the right side. Yeah.
Also, one of the great things about the throne is that because you can fly, you don't have to worry about platforming over these lava pits, which, trust me, platforming in Enter the Gungeon is the 2 final boss.
Yeah.
The 3 final boss, I should say. This is platforming, dodge rolling across moving platforms. That is... There's something uniquely awful and yet absolutely relatable to building an absolute like monstrosity of a build, like being able to crush bosses very, very quickly, only to die because you mistimed a dodge roll and fell into a lava pit.
Especially on turbo mode and rainbow mode, your speed affects the distance of your dodge, so it like changes the platforming. And I'm not especially fast this run, but there are some rainbow runs that you're like 300% speed and just not even platforming, just like a pit too close to you is the most deadly thing in the game. All right, Yari launcher.
Okay, this fight.
Gun.
We have a dragon fight, of course. This fight is going to go so fast, you have no idea. That's it. That's phase one, which is most of the fight. And Ancient Heroes bandana is making it. We do have one little last bit of platforming we have to do to make it to the final cycle.
This should one cycle, right?
You would hope so. Oh, maybe. There we go. That was a one cycle heart kill.
I guess another master round.
The Dragon Master round, which is extremely fun to get.
Yeah, there we go.
All right, so that's any percent. We're not done yet, though, because there is still one more floor. And if you don't know where it is, well, all you have to do is make it here to the end. And it'll just get you.
You have to have unlocked this, which is a long process, but this is Bullet Hell, aptly named. Ooh, do I want Stout Bullet? Fat Bullets, yeah, let's go. There's so many different bullets in this game. I don't know what the difference is between Stout Bullets and Fat Bullets, but they get bigger and do more damage, so especially with the finished gun, that reflective last bullet gets massive. So, but this is not only bullet hell because of the bullets, but also the hell part. The layout is huge. There's lots of dead ends. Most floors don't have any dead ends. Like, you might have to like go in a circle and take a different path. This one will just like, almost every route is a dead end. There are some telltale signs of where the game has made room for a floor, which I should have went this way. Like, if this hallway is just a little bit longer, which leads me to believe it put the boss this way, so it had to make a little bit of extra room, which is how the game worked, which looks like I was wrong, but that's about the only signal you have in this stage as to where the final boss is, and it will wear you down. Your resources will go from like, I've got life, to, yeah, not really.
It's very telling because, like, what'll happen is you have to make basically three hub rooms over the course of the floor, and each one will have 3 paths out. And so what you have to do is you really have to make that right call 3 separate times. And like Dan said, that sound, I mean, you can have some of the best guns, some of the best items in the game, and if Bullet Hell decides it's going to play dirty, then you might be entering the final boss with much, much less than you entered with.
And there's several of these huge rooms, which the enemies know you're there. You don't necessarily know the enemies are there, which is fun.
But yeah, we're coming up on the, we're hopefully, we're making our way towards the final boss.
I went every other way I could go, so it's definitely this way for now.
We'd like to see that. As we're approaching the final boss, and I want to make sure we give the final boss credit because it is incredibly hard, but also, as you've seen, we kill bosses pretty fast. So I want to take a minute to shout out Dodge Roll Games, just for being amazing developers and for being such good caretakers of this fun game. Game is older than people remember. Like, if we were talking about 2016, and the community behind it is so strong. The people that make it are so passionate, and the fact that it's still getting this much love and still has this much of a player base, almost coming up soon on 10 years, is really telling. Also, I would like to give a shout out, if you haven't had a chance to play the Enter the Gungeon light gun game, I know it's been at a few arcades now. It was at GDQ arcades for a while ago. You should. It's really, really fun.
Yeah.
It's also really, really hard.
Yeah. But you play it somewhere like GDQ where it's free.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I'm getting too many cursed enemies because I have too much curse. Not too much. Too much would be 10. You get a point in the game where if you have 10 curse, which is just a random number that unless you're like counting, you don't know how much you have. There's a Grim Reaper that just spawns and follows you from room to room. Very rude. All right, well, we haven't reached a dead end. So this is the last set of 3, I think. So
I think, Quack, as we're making our way to the Lich fight, if you have anything you'd like to share before we hit this final boss.
Absolutely. Well, as we move on down towards that $1,000 milestone for tonight and beyond, I'd just love to share a little bit more about the surgery costs that we are raising money for Alice's gender-affirming surgery. The cost of a surgery is not just the surgery itself, but anesthesia, hospital stay, travel, and other life accommodations while healing from the procedure. Insurance may not cover everything involved with the security, so the costs add up. And if you would like to see a breakdown of those costs, Alice has generously shared them with y'all. You can type costs, ! Costs in the chat for the link, which is a very eye-opening experience if you are not familiar with the state of a lot of things. And I am personally thankful that that info is being shared.
As am I. I am reliant on, as many people are, on my employer for healthcare, and as someone who requires gender-affirming healthcare, having insurance helps, but it isn't guaranteed to help as much as you might hope. By the way, that was the entire first phase of the Lich done.
I blinked. Hold on, go back.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna leave. No, we're done.
No!
We were getting sentimental. What's going on?
Run away! Oh, I almost got away that time. I felt it.
Almost.
Almost.
It's okay. We have more boss fight. We're good. But yeah, this is the Lich first phase. Usually takes longer, but here's the second phase. Again, it's basically a harder version of the dragon fight. Some of the same hitboxes, some of the same patterns.
Sometimes I almost just feel bad for him.
Almost. And then for every other run. But time's going to be coming up here in not too much longer. Time is not on the boss kill, though. Time will be when the Gungeoneer is shot out of the castle. And if you don't know what that means, we'll call it for you. Don't worry. But that is the Lich. Gone.
I can't die anymore. We passed the point of death. My time will be soon. Time.
GG. Incredible run.
Like 6 whole minutes underestimate, man. You could have played the Gungeon.
And that's with Rat being incredibly mean.
That's like a 1.5 run. You get credit, new category on the leaderboard. 31 minutes. Now that was without a couple floors. I'll take that. I am always excited to get to play Gungeon and to have other people watch me, and especially to raise money for a really good cause is just like icing on the cake. BD, you got any last thoughts?
No, I thank you for having me join you again. I love watching Gungeon at a high level. And yeah, I'm really glad that we're all here raising money for an amazing cause. So let's keep it going. This is an amazing marathon, and it is just getting started. So y'all, let's see what we can do here. But you're not going to want to miss anything because there's a lot of really cool stuff coming up.
Yeah, shout out to all the organizers, all the volunteers. I appreciate getting invited to be a part of it, and I think that's going to be it for me.
Awesome. Thank you both so much. Chad, please make some noise one more time amongst yourselves in the chat for DanTheVP running Enter the Gungeon. That was an absolutely wonderful run. A gunderful run, even. I can get in on the puns, too. You can't stop me. Friends, we are going to get set up for our upcoming Kingdom Hearts final mix run. Keep that gondola incentive in your minds, but we have so much more amazing content on our way to that Metroid Prime randomizer, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Hello, friends, and welcome back to Running Through Wonderland, a mutual aid marathon raising money for Alice at Wonderland Games gender-affirming surgery. Friends, this truly marks the end of my time on the host mic for today. I will be back with you all tomorrow to continue raising money for something truly incredible and near and dear to my heart. But to move us into the evening with some upcoming Kingdom Hearts, I am delighted to introduce Asuka424 to the mic.
Hello, friends. How you doing? Welcome, everybody, again to this wonderful, wonderful Running Through Wonderland marathon. I am Asuka424. Can we get some GGs to Quacksilver, because Quack is an amazing host and a really good friend and absolutely wonderful human being. Also, a little bit more GGs for DanTheVP and the Enter the Gungeon run, which was awesome. All right, so let's see what we have right now. Looking at the screen, and y'all, I don't know if you see that current incentive, that riding the gondola for Metroid Prime 1 and 2. Let's sit down and talk about this. So Bash Prime has offered to ride a gondola in Abandoned Base. Now, in a randomizer, this is completely useless, but I am an agent of chaos, friends, and I know you are too. Yes, you. I'm looking at you. I think. Yes, yeah, totally you. Totally, I'm looking at you. But I like to see random uselessness and chaos in randomizers. So if we a total of $1,000 by the end of Metroid Prime 1 and 2, we get to see this gondola run. I absolutely want to do that. There's going to be tons and tons of tiny enemies flying all over the place, and it's just going to be funny. And as an agent of chaos, I'm a chaotic neutral one, so I like my chaos in the flavor of funny. So I will perceive who I want in chat. Or something. Or specifically people that mention to not perceive them. It's what I do. Again, chaotic neutral means never having to say you're sorry and other fun stuff. Also, chaotic neutral bards. Shout out to my fellow bards out there. But we are at $777. Fantastic number, but we still need, doing some mental math, $223 to hit that incentive. You might think we have enough time, but let me tell you, friends, that time runs out very quickly, especially with our next run, which is going to be Kingdom Hearts Final Mix. That's going to be run by Marathon Man. We're doing an any % beginner run, so we are going to be flying through the worlds of, for some people, their very young years. For me, my teens. But we'll talk a little bit more about that once we get into the run, because it is time, everybody, to board your gummy ships. Yes, those ones that you loved building, and I know you loved building it, because Marathon Man is going to be taking us through a very simple and clean run, because puns, of our Kingdom Hearts Final Mix. But actually, you know what? I just found out the gummy ship's a little dusty. Somebody forgot to put the engines on the gummy ship. Either that or it was one of those like decorative ones, you know, the ones that you tried building and just did not quite get there. I know I've definitely built a Pokeball or two in the gummy ship editor because I wasn't really good at building a gummy ship. But that's okay. So I'll have to find the engine. It's somewhere out there. But anywho, while we're waiting and we're looking for that engine, let me tell you a few things here. And why we are doing this marathon. It is for our wonderful Alice at Wonderland games. Now, you might ask yourself, who is Alice? Well, me with my hand over my face, let me tell you. Alice just happens to be a variety speedrunner with a love of platformers and horror games, and is actually studying both psychology and neuroscience. Anybody that can double major, anybody that can major is fantastic. Double majors. Ooh, I had a hard enough time with one, but to do two, fantastic, and it's psychology and neuroscience. She also has 2 dogs and a gecko, and loves cooking, painting, anime, and art. Absolutely a fantastic human being. Alice came out to her friends when she was 17 and to her family at 19. And, you know, she wants to be a psychiatrist to help young adults and specialize in queer issues and mood disorders. Alice's surgery, which is what we're raising money for, has been canceled twice due to insurance issues. And, you know, she's been waiting for this surgery for 4 years since her first consultation. So every moment and every dollar helps to get her there. This isn't just the cost of the surgery. This is the cost of travel, accommodations, hospital stays, medications, everything. It is, yeah, shout out to double majors in chat. Again, I thought majoring in chemistry was rough, but to do 2, oh my heckin' fluff. But yeah, every single dollar is going towards such a wonderful human being and getting the gender affirming surgery that she wants, and it would be fantastic for her. So thank you to everybody that's been donating, watching, sharing notes of love, being there with a laugh, being perceived by the current host. I still see you, friend. But all of you are being absolutely amazing. All right, now I mentioned that fantastic gondola run. But, however, if you look at the schedule, I want somebody that may or may not be perceived to type !schedule in the chat and work with me here. If you look at the schedule for the upcoming absolute bangers of runs, there's an Undertale run tomorrow, and there is a donation incentive bid war for Undertale. You actually get to choose the name of the fallen child. It is up to a maximum of 6 characters. You can choose anything you want. with approval, of course. You could do things like Sora and Goofy and Donald. Yes, I had to use my fingers to make sure Donald was fun. Anywho, yeah, you can use whatever you want to put in one of those names for the fallen child. It's currently wide open, anybody's game. Feel free to select whatever name you want. You could choose Alice even if you want. But make sure when you are putting in that incentive, scroll down to the bottom, or when you put in your donation, I should say, scroll down to the incentive tab, click on Undertale, and that's where you can put in that name. And of course, every single dollar if you put towards the Undertale incentive will also go straight to the gondola incentive.